You ever been around somebody who is just really loud all the time, and this is how they talk? Really loud all the time, and that's how they talk. Or a group of people who are really loud all the time, and that's how they talk. And then you have some other people who just get loud in certain situations. And then there's some other people who are really loud in an argument with people. There's a couple things that is causing people to be loud in general. And then there's a couple things, or one main thing that causes people to be really loud in an argument. When you're in an argument with them, they're over you with their voices. One thing is, I mean, culture comes into play too, where, let's say in the black culture, a lot of black people are loud, or a lot of black Americans. It's a stereotype of being really loud and belligerent. Some of that is coming from, and not just with black people, people in general who are just loud sometimes, especially those who are loud no matter what they're saying. Sometimes, most of the times, it's coming from this feeling of them not being important or feeling like they don't matter, and so they project their voice, and they practice to project their voice so loud so they could be heard and or seen. And that takes me to my next point, that sometimes it's from a trauma of not being seen by their parents and or heard by their parents, and so they develop this thing about them that they have to project their voice, and this they learn that this is how they it's the only way to be seen. If I don't get loud, I'm not going to be seen or heard. But when we're talking about people who are in a if you're in an argument with somebody and their voice is over you, or maybe it's you, maybe you're the person who's always, your voice is over them and you don't want them to get a word in, especially when you don't want them to get a word in, and you're constantly talking over them, meanwhile they're talking, you're talking, um, with a louder voice than them, you're drowning out their voice. Where that is coming from is most of these people who are loud like that in an argument, a lot of times they are liars and or manipulators. And what they're doing is, most of the times they're people who not just liars and manipulators, they also are people who are probably doing horrible things to people, and lying and manipulating about it, or lying and manipulating alongside it. And so when they get in an argument with you, especially if there's other people around, okay, and especially if it's people they want to see them in a certain light, they become louder than you, because if they're abusing you and or they're treating you a certain way and or they're liars and manipulators, they have to put their voice over you so you won't get to speak the truth in front of the other people, because when they drown out your voice with theirs, it's a way for you to not have a chance to speak the truth. um, Either speak the truth to, so they know that you, or they realize that you know the truth of what they're doing, and or they don't want other people to see that, they don't want you to make sense. That's number one, because if you make sense, it means that they're lying, or they're liars, and it will mean that that they're wrong, and they're in the wrong, and they've been doing things wrong, and they don't want to be um, the one that is to be blamed. So they have to drown out your voice so you don't get to make sense of the situation with what you have to say, or you don't get to tell the truth. Because if you tell the truth, then the people around them are going to see that you're the one that's right and they're wrong. So they have to make sure they drown out your voice and your reasoning with theirs.